Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Hope you enjoy yourself.
This is a gripping story of Nathan Mercer and the mysterious book he experiments with to realize the power that words can wield in life. Nathan Mercer had never been a man of action. He was a man of words. In his dimly lit bookstore, nestled in a forgotten corner of the city, he lived surrounded by stories, his only companions the books lining the mahogany shelves. His voice barely ever rose above a whisper, and his presence was so unassuming that people often forgot he was there. But Nathan had a gift he himself barely understood. It started with an old book, bound in deep red leather with no title. It had arrived mysteriously in a shipment of second-hand novels, and the moment Nathan touched it, a shiver ran down his spine. The pages were blank, save for the first one, which bore a single line in delicate calligraphy. "What you write shall become a reality." At first, he dismissed it as an elaborate prank, but curiosity gnawed at him. That night, he took up his fountain pen and, after much hesitation, scribbled, "Let there be rain." A crack of thunder split the silence. Rain drummed against the windows, though the sky had been clear moments before. Nathan leapt to his feet, heart hammering. It had to be a coincidence, but deep inside, he knew it wasn't. The days that followed were filled with cautious experiments. Small things at first, a flickering candle reigniting, a missing book reappearing, a door locking on its own. Each word he penned became truth, and he felt the weight of his newfound power pressing upon him. Then came the man in the gray suit. He entered the store with a slow, deliberate stride, his eyes like polished steel. He introduced himself as Victor Langley, a collector of rare books. But Nathan sensed something more, a predator's patience, a hunter's gaze. Langley did not browse the shelves. He simply watched Nathan. "You have something extraordinary," Langley murmured, "and I want it." Nathan feigned ignorance, but Langley's knowing smile sent a chill down his spine. That night, as Nathan sat with a book before him, he felt a presence outside his window. A shadow flitted past. The game had begun. Desperation gripped him. He scribbled hastily, "Victor Langley forgets about the book." But nothing happened. His fingers trembled. He wrote again, "Victor Langley disappears." Still, nothing. The book, it seemed, had limits. He could conjure objects, influence the world in small ways, but he could not rewrite a man's fate with mere commands. The following night, his bookstore was ransacked. Shelves lay overturned, pages fluttering in the air like wounded birds. The book was still hidden. His foresight had saved it. But Nathan knew he was running out of time. Langley would not stop, not until he possessed what Nathan had. A realization struck him then. He had been using the book as a weapon, but what if he used it as a shield? Not to alter fate, but to reveal truths. He dipped his pen into the ink and wrote, "The truth about Victor Langley is known. Nothing happened, at first, but then whispers began. A journalist uncovered hidden files. Former associates spoke out. The name Victor Langley appeared in headlines, linked to conspiracies, missing persons, and stolen artifacts. His empire of secrets crumbled, and the man himself vanished. Nathan never saw him again. The book remained, but Nathan used it sparingly after that. He had learned that words were not just tools. They were power, not in the form of magic, but in their ability to shape perception, to unearth truths, to inspire revolutions. He continued his quiet life, tending to his books, no longer invisible, no longer afraid. Because he understood now, words did not need magic to change the world. They always had. But the story did not end there. Months passed, and Nathan found himself drawn back to the book, despite his caution. It sat on his desk, its red leather glowing under the lamp's soft light. He had promised himself he wouldn't use it again, but an idea gnawed at him, one he couldn't ignore. What if I could do more than expose the truth? What if I could shape the future? The temptation was unbearable. He opened the book and wrote, "Let there be peace." The world outside his window remained unchanged. Cars honked, people argued. The city pulsed with its usual chaos. Nathan sighed. Perhaps he had overestimated his power. He closed the book, resolving to put it away for good. The next morning, however, the news spoke of unexpected peace talks between two long-feuding nations. A ceasefire was declared in a war that had raged for years. Nathan sat frozen, the newspaper trembling in his hands. Had he done that? Or was it a coincidence? Over the next few weeks, he tested his influence carefully. Small changes, helping the lost find their way, aiding those in need. He worded his entries carefully, ensuring no unintended consequences. But as his confidence grew, so did his ambitions. One night, he wrote, "Let hunger be no more." The next day, reports surfaced of a breakthrough in agricultural technology that promised to end food scarcity. Nathan was stunned. He had spent his life believing he was powerless. Yet now, with a few strokes of his pen, he could shift the tides of history. But then came the warnings. Strange men loitered near his shop. His phone rang with silence on the other end. The book's power had drawn attention once again. One evening, he found a note slipped under his door. 3 words. "We know everything." Nathan's blood ran cold. He tried to ignore it, but a deep sense of unease settled over him. He knew he had to stop. He locked the book away, vowing never to use it again. But the world wasn't done with him. A week later, his bookstore was set ablaze. He barely escaped with his life, coughing as he stumbled into the street. Flames devoured his sanctuary, reducing it to ash. He had been naive to think he could wield such power unnoticed. The book was gone, lost to the fire, or so he thought. Days later, a package arrived at his temporary lodging. No return address, no note, just a red leather book, untouched by flames. Terror gripped him. He knew then the book could not be destroyed, and as long as it existed, someone would seek it. Nathan made his decision. He packed a bag, took one last look at the city he had called home, and disappeared into the night. He would spend the rest of his days hiding the book, keeping it from those who would misuse it. For he had learned the ultimate lesson. Words had power beyond comprehension, and some words should never be written. Moral of the story: our words hold immense power, capable of shaping reality, uncovering truths, and influencing the world in ways both profound and dangerous. Nathan's journey illustrates that while words can be tools for change, they must be wielded with wisdom and responsibility. Unchecked, they can invite chaos and attract those who seek to exploit them. Ultimately, the story warns that some knowledge is too powerful to be controlled, and sometimes silence is the greatest safeguard of all.
Thanks for watching and enjoying our inspiring videos. If you like our stories, do pool in your likes and wonderful comments about your views. Also, don't forget to subscribe now for more interesting content. Have a nice day. Let's meet again soon. Take care.